Welcome to Flying with Tara. I'm gonna teach you how to take off, land, and taxi a F-22. Let's go with the default one. All right. So now you have your F-22. Typically, if you're in roleplay, you would have ground crew around you. PTFS isn't that realistic to where you can have a ladder up, but you just imagine you climb into here. So then you would request your IFR, or I believe fighter jets can only do VFR clearance from air traffic control. So essentially, you would file um, your flight plan, where you're going, if you're taking radar vectors, blah, 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 your call sign. Once you're granted that, ATC will, um, it's their option if they want to tell you contact for pushback startup. In this case, it would just be, call sign, quick 5981 requesting pushback startup, blah, 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 blah. Then you can start your taxi. Let's say air traffic control gives you the taxiway instructions. For taxiways, go to airport charts and then just kind of scroll through. You'll find it eventually. They're not all on here, unfortunately. Luckily, a lot of big airports are. So you can rotate it. So let's say I'm departing from 9L. My taxiway instructions would be Alpha, Delta, Delta, holding it Delta 1. So let's just say I have Alpha, Alpha, holding Delta 1. Or sorry, Alpha, Alpha, Delta, holding Delta 1. Now you want to taxi at around 20, 30 knots. 30 knots for your Southwest Airlines. You don't want to go too fast. You always want to look around so that your surroundings don't like crash into another plane. McConnell's a little confusing, airport charts wise, because not all of these taxiways are labeled. So these little empty areas in the middle are actually mass parking. So McConnell Air Force Base is specifically intended for, I believe it's a fuel tank wing, or aerial refueling wing. I believe they have KC-135s here. And so, or KC-130s, I don't know what I'm saying. The point is they have tankers here, they're parked right there. McConnell has two different size runways. It's less the length, it's more of the width. So you have this runway which you would prioritize so now, okay, hold on. I'll talk about that later. Now we're holding at Delta 1. You should have stopped right here. Double yellow line, think of it as like no crossing. You know, you're driving a car, double yellow line, you can't pass it. Imagine this is that. So if you're going, but let's say you land that way, for some reason you're really bad at landing, so you end up all the way over here. If it's a spotted double yellow line, you can pass it. So this is the holding line. Think of it as a stop sign. Air traffic control will go into your clearance, Quakes 9581, coded for departures via runway 09L. Departures going to be on this frequency, blah, 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 blah. Taxi out onto, you're going to line yourself up. And then if they've cleared you for departure, you're cleared to go. Congrats. Let me line myself up a little bit better, sorry. So, typically I like to line myself up at this second marker. This gives good space so that the next aircraft right there won't get their head blown off. You try and stay lined up. I'm going to depart and never do full throttle. Always do like 70, 80 on the jet. I'm going to do it third person. I don't really do third person, so sorry, it's not the best takeoff. Let's say you've departed at about 500, I'm going to say 300 feet typically. Between 300 and 500 feet is when you'll take up your landing gear. If you are doing IFR clearance, which is a bit weird for military, then you would essentially, you would have a cruising altitude. They would go Quake 95 blah 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 blah. Upon departure, holding 050, which would be 5,000 feet. And then blah blah blah, 5 minutes blah 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 after departure. Then your cruising altitude, whichever you set it as. So we're gonna do a nice little sharp ass turn here. We're gonna land back at the funnel. So you always want to plan your approach. So I've sort of started planning already. I've slowed myself down, I've kept my flaps down. And then once we're gonna say about this far, I'm gonna say between 1,500, 1,500 feet is where you want to be for your final approach. So right now I'm just chilling at 1,000. Sort of line yourself up. You want to be lined up with the runway. I'm a man, so I'm not going to use the map to line myself up. So you know, to the turn. So if you look closely, you can see those red and white lights. Those are called popping lights. So essentially, white means you're too high, red means you're too low. But that was not good. If they're even, which I think they are right now, that means your approach is good. So you just want to stay between the 2 red and 2 white. Now I'm going to deploy my gear, which I should have done maybe a little earlier. So see, we have 3 white right now. There we go. They do work in game, so they will change. You just want to stay in this area. So slow yourself down on your approach. Now it's a different story if you're landing on the aircraft carrier. Yeah, see, it's too low. You always want to like touch down at those markers right there is a good reference point. Unfortunately, I wasn't at landing speed. That wasn't one of my best landings, I'll say, but this is one tutorial. So then you'll receive. You don't have to contact air traffic control. You're going to take the first exit of the runway. You are going to hold here until air traffic control gives you taxiway instructions, but then you're good to go. So let's say you have a gate. Let's say they want you to go to, I don't know what hangar that is. Let's say they want you to go to that hangar. You get your taxiway instructions, and then essentially from there, it's just you're imagining that there's a taxiway line. All right. This is tutorials with Terra. You now know how to land and blah 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 blah. I'll do one with air traffic control later. See ya.